Hello everyone, this is Dr. Abdullah Hatem from IB Chemistry. I'm a clinical pharmacist and I work as a chemistry teacher in the IB and the IGCSE high school certificates. I teach the IB SL level and the IG O level and the AS levels. Today I'll be discussing the IB SL level, specifically the Organic Chemistry chapter. So let's get started. Organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry concerned with the study of the carbon compounds contained within living organisms. Carbon is a very unique element. It can form huge long chains consisting of hundreds or even thousands or even millions of carbon atoms bonded together. It can form single or double or triple bonds, and it can arrange in circles or other geometrical shapes. A hydrocarbon is an organic compound that contains carbon and hydrogen only. A saturated organic compound is a compound that does not contain any double or triple bond. It contains only single bonds. While an unsaturated organic compound is a compound that contains at least one double bond in its structure. The number of carbon atoms have a specific prefix. One carbon atom in a molecule can be defined as meth, while eth stands for 2 carbon atoms, prop stands for 3 carbon atoms, but for 4, pent for 5, hex for 6, hept for 7, oct for 8, non for 9, and deca for 10 carbon atoms. If we have an organic compound, we can write the compound in different types of formula. We can write the compound in the form of the molecular formula or the condensed structural formula, in which the formula shows the actual number of atoms only. We can write the empirical formula, which is the simplest form of the molecular formula, which is the simplest ratio of the molecular formula. So C6H12 will be simplified into CH2. The full structural formula or the displayed formula is the formula showing the number of atoms, the bonds between the atoms, and what type of bonds are they. The last type of formula types is the skeletal formula. The skeletal formula is the most widely used type, in which each dash represents a CH3 group at each end. So, for example, propane would be drawn as 2 lines connected together, in which the end of each line represents a CH3 group. Organic compounds can be classified into different classifications upon many criteria. One of those classifications is whether the compound is straight or in a circle or cyclic. So if it's straight, it is said to be aliphatic. In case of a circle, it's said to be circular or cyclic. If we have 6 carbon atoms arranged in a ring with unsaturated double bonds alternating between the carbon atoms, this structure is said to be a benzene ring. A benzene ring undergoes what's called resonance. What's meant by resonance? Resonance is when the double bond alternates between the carbon atoms. So in the case of the left hand side structure, the double bond is in the second carbon, while in the case of the right hand side structure, the double bond is in the first carbon atom. So the double bond resonates and alternates between the carbon atoms. The evidence for the benzene structure can be proven by the fact that when benzene crystallizes upon cooling, the X-ray diffraction states that all the bonds had the same length of 140 picometer. Besides, the electrostatic potential mapping states that all the carbon atoms have the same electron density, so the molecule is symmetrical. The difference in energy between a benzene ring and a cyclohexane is called the resonance energy or the delocalization energy, which represents the more stable form or the difference in stability between the unsaturated and the saturated form of the benzene ring. Organic compounds can be classified into families. Each family is called a homologous series. A homologous series, or the members of the homologous series, have many in common. First, they have the same functional group. A functional group is the fingerprint of the family. For example, alcohols have the functional group of OH, meaning that any alcohol in the world would have the OH group. This is the fingerprint of the family. The family has the same chemical properties, meaning that if one member of a family tends to react in the form of combustion reactions, most members or even all members of the same family would react in the form of combustion reactions. They tend to behave in the same way, to react in the same way. In each family, as the number of carbon atoms increases in the same family, the melting point increases and the boiling point increases. However, as the number of carbon atoms increases in the same family, the volatility decreases. What's meant by volatility is that a volatile substance is a substance that evaporates easily. So when the volatility decreases, means that it gets harder to evaporate. Well, that's it for today. This is the first class, which is an introduction, a simple introduction to organic chemistry, and I will see you in the next lesson.